Hey everyone! So I am coming to you with a video about how I read. Now I generally read a lot. If you watch any of my wrap-up videos or my reading goal videos, I generally get through about 100 books a year, and I've done this for about at least 3 years running because that's all I've recorded. But I generally read a lot. I read probably about 3 books at a time, and I never thought that I would be a person to read more than 1 book at a time. That was always a serious challenge for me when I was younger. I just want to tell you how I go about reading as much as I do and getting through as many books as I buy, because I buy a lot. If you're new to this channel, hey, book hauls happen here all the time. So like I said, I generally have 3 books going at any given time. One of which I'm listening to, one of which I'm reading as an ebook on my phone, and one I'm reading as a physical book. This system has kind of worked really well for me because it's all different formats. I kind of separate them in my mind so that stories don't blend together, because that was my main issue when I was trying to read 3 physical books at a time. I couldn't keep track of all the plots and the characters. I couldn't keep them separate. For some reason, using 3 different medias has definitely helped me out because it's very different reading experiences. Now I'm going to introduce you to a program that, if you haven't heard of, is going to change your life, and that is called Overdrive. Now, this is how I read through so many books and I don't go into debt. Overdrive is a program that you can use on your computer. I use it on my phone just because that's how I do it. But Overdrive is a program that works through your library. It has pretty much every library that has a card catalog online available in it. So if you have a library card to your local library, you can use it. And I was kind of suspicious about it because I've gone on Audible, I've gone on any of those different types of audiobook or ebook apps on my phone, and I'm never impressed by the library that's in it. I feel like it's not worth the price that you pay in a monthly subscription or in a download fee for a single book. Overdrive is through the library, so it's free. The program is free. Every single book that you download is free. You only get to keep it for 2 weeks. I have it set up for 2 weeks. I think you can change the lending period, but I think the maximum is 2 weeks. But I read through books that quickly, so that's very beneficial to me. If you're doubtful of your personal library's catalog on there, just go on. You don't have to sign in or anything. You can just look through their catalog and see if they have books that you're interested in. I go on to the young adult section pretty much daily and check their recent uploads. My personal libraries keep extremely up to date with new releases. There's actually pre-release titles listed in my catalog that you can put yourself on the hold list for, so the second it becomes available as a file, you can get it on your phone, which is really exciting. I also have benefited from the fact that I've moved a lot. In the past probably 5 years, I've moved different counties, and I retained my library cards from 3 different county libraries. So I pretty much have the card catalogs of 3 different whole county libraries. So if one doesn't have a book available, the other one probably does. So if I'm reading through a series and I get to like book 3 and I have to put myself on the hold list and there's like 15 people ahead of me, I can go to another library and it might be completely available, which is really cool. But because of Overdrive, I get through a lot of books really quickly. If you haven't checked out audiobooks, this is a very easy way to do it because it's free. You have kind of an endless catalog to choose from. It has a ton of new releases based on your library. I definitely have discovered audiobooks through this in a good way and a bad way. There are definitely some audiobooks where the narrator makes or breaks a story. Sometimes it is spot on, the voices are perfect. Sometimes, and I find this very apparent in younger grade stories, like middle grade stories, narrators try and do voices of all the characters, and in the end it turns out to be more annoying than if they just read it in their normal voice to me, and it takes me out of the story. But I've also discovered some unbelievable audiobook experiences. Sometimes, especially for biographies of comedians, the comedians themselves will be reading the book, so you get the feel of every passage that they're trying to get across to you. They portray it how it's meant to be portrayed. So I really enjoy that aspect of audiobooks. I tend to listen to them when I'm driving because I have about a half-hour commute to work. So I tend to get through about an hour of a book every day, and most like 300-page books, which is about what most standard YA books are broken up into about 9 parts. So I can get through pretty much an entire book in about a week. I also recommend listening to it when you're playing games on your phone. If you're playing Candy Crush, put on a book. you can accomplish two things at once. It helps your brain focus when you're playing something. I don't know, it just keeps my mind in the story. But I also do it when I am doing chores, when I'm cleaning the house, or if I'm out working with my horses and cleaning the barn. It's just nice to have something to listen to so that I don't feel like I'm going dumb when I am mindlessly picking up poop outside. The other part of Overdrive is the ebook. I didn't really like the whole ebook thing. Back when e-readers started coming out, I was very anti-ebook just because I clearly like to have the material aspect part of book collecting. I like having physical books, I like the smell of them, I like them on my shelves, I like collecting them. Because of Overdrive, I've kind of gotten to experience it for free and see how I feel about it. Because of that, I always have a book on me. There's always a book available on my phone at all times, which means I can kind of lie in bed and just read a book until I fall asleep without having to worry to get up and turn the light off, or having a book fall on my face, because has that happened to you with a really big hardcover? It hurts when it falls on your face when you fall asleep. So I don't have that issue. It's just on my phone. So I can read while I'm at work. Don't tell my boss. I don't do that. I do that. But I could read pretty much whenever I have downtime. If I'm waiting for my oil to get changed in my car, I can be reading. Another thing about ebooks that I really enjoy is I don't have a constant need to be checking how far I am in the book. Because I read on my phone, because the little pages are so small, they're only the size of my phone screen, the page count is way off. Like a 300-page book will be like 1,000 pages on my phone. So I feel like I generally don't have a huge need to constantly be like closing the book to see how far my bookmark is in the book. And I feel like that kind of takes the pressure off of reading physical books. Like, I feel like I am more immersed in the story when I'm not constantly checking to see how close I am to the end, and I'm just experiencing it as it goes. Which can also leave you for some horrible cliffhanger endings when you're like, what? The page isn't flipping anymore. Why isn't it going anymore? Oh, that's the end of the book. I kind of like that aspect of ebooks. That's not something I really thought that I would enjoy, but I definitely do. And I get back to physical books, which is my one true love. Me and physical books are an OTP. It's my original love. We will always be together, and nothing will get over the feeling of reading a book and just flipping through the pages. Nothing beats that feeling. So I generally have 3 separate books going at a time. So physical books will always be where my heart is. I will always buy books, collect books, read books, but discovering these 2 separate forms of media in addition to physical books has definitely expanded my reading. I read way more than I ever did before. I process way more, and I feel like I'm enjoying it. It's different experiences. I get introduced to characters differently when I'm listening to them versus when I'm reading them. So I highly recommend checking out Overdrive or any sort of audiobook or ebook program just to try it and see what you think of it, but I definitely recommend Overdrive. If you have not checked it out, just go sign up and see what happens. It's free. You're not obligated. They don't send you emails or anything. It's just a really amazing program to check out. So that's how I read gajillions of books. I hope you guys found this useful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.